You're on James Joyce Martello Tower in Sandy Cove, Dalkey, Dublin, South Dublin. We're looking out onto the Howth Peninsula and right across the expanse of Dublin Bay.
The tower was built by the British. It's called a Martello Tower. It was built in 1804 to defend their coast, the Welsh coast, the English coast, against an invasion by Napoleon during the Napoleonic Wars. They had tried to take over a tower like this in Corsica called a Martello Tower. And it was so hard to take over that they thought, oh, we'll build towers like this. So you can see from this, now this was not the original entrance, but you can see how thick the wall was. And it was built, this one was built in 1804, and it was built from granite, which was taken from around the area. There were about 28 of them around Dublin. Some of them survived. This one became famous because James Joyce, the most famous, or one of the most famous Irish writers, set his book here, up at the top, the very top where the cannon used to be. In 1904, they decided they would get rid of the towers, and they leased some of them out, and a great friend of James Joyce, a medical student called Oliver St. John Gogarty, leased this one for £8 for the year. And he thought, I think he was going to set up a kind of literary salon, a place where people would meet and discuss books and that sort of thing. At the beginning, he invited James Joyce, and a friend of his came over from Oxford called Trench. Trench is Hines in the book. James Joyce, as Oliver St. John Gogarty, is called Plump Buck Mulligan. The first part of Ulysses set going from the living quarters up to the cannon site. Plump Buck Mulligan is calling down to Joyce to come up. But if you read the beginning of the book, you'll find out all about what actually happened.
What's happening down there in the famous 40-foot is people are swimming as it comes up to high tide. It's not safe on low tide because there's a 40-foot drop. That's where it gets the name of the 40-foot. If the tide was completely out, you could see the rocks underneath would be clear where those people are now swimming. So it's quite a high tidal drop. I've swam there loads of times. It's very traditional, especially on the 16th of June, which is James Joyce Day. We're on the tower looking down onto the 40-foot. And that would be very, very busy on that day now. It would be the traditional, maybe people who never swim in the sea from one end of the year to the next will swim on James Joyce Day.
We call it the James Joyce Tower. It's open 365 days a year.